Pixie and I are healthy eaters. What about you? Hi, my name is Royina and I have type 1 diabetes. And today I want to talk about two really important aspects of type 1 diabetes management, that is diet and exercise. Let's start with diet. There's a huge misconception that type 1 diabetics have to restrict the amount of sugar and sweet that they eat. But that is wrong. What they actually need to look out for is carbs or carbohydrates, because type 1 diabetics do not produce insulin, which helps in digestion of the carbohydrates. So the first most important thing that they need to know is carb counting. You need to know what number of carbs are there in each food item that you eat, so that you can take your insulin accordingly. So the second thing you need to know is your insulin to carb ratio. That is, for 1 unit of insulin, how many carbs do you need to cover that insulin? For instance, my insulin to carb ratio is 1:20. So I know that anytime I want to eat 20 grams of carbohydrates, I need to take 1 unit of insulin. What carb counting does is that it gives you the freedom to eat what you want, because you can just take insulin as per the number of carbs. For instance, 1/3 slice of a pizza is about 15 grams of carbohydrates. So I know that I can eat a little bit more than 1/3 slice of a pizza and take 1 unit of insulin. So that way I get to eat pizza, which many nutritionists would probably tell you that you can't do. But for type 1 diabetics, it's important to have a healthy diet over a long period of time. So every single day, you need to ensure that you're really looking at what you're eating. What works best is a medium to low carb diet, high protein, low fat, high fiber. That's the diet that I follow. Again, the type of diet that suits you will be different, because it differs from one person to the next. Some people, a really high carb diet is what helps them maintain a stable blood glucose, and they do really badly on low carb diets. For others, they go full keto, and that is what helps them. So you need to find out what helps you. This is what I have been eating, and I found that it helps me maintain a stable glucose. So every meal that I eat, I kind of break it down into 4 parts. The first is my raw vegetables. I always have about at least 250 grams of salad of cucumber and tomato. That's because they're low carb vegetables. Then the second component of my meal is steamed vegetables. So they are just steamed enough not to be soggy, but to just be kind of lightly crisp. So that's because every time you cook vegetables, you're increasing the carb content essentially. So it is important to make sure that you try to if you're cooking them, you try to retain them as close to the natural form as possible. The third aspect is protein. I eat protein with every single meal, whether that's egg whites, lean protein, chicken, fish, etc. Now, if you're vegetarian, this can be an aspect that creates a bit of a problem for you. And especially in India, since there are many people who don't eat eggs, who don't eat meat. So what I would suggest is, please don't rely only on cottage cheese. That has a really high fat content. So that's not really the healthiest option. What you should look out for, or what you should go for more, is probably tofu or things such as soya, which have a high protein content. What I have done is completely cut out Indian food from my diet. Now I know we live in India and roti, dal, things like this are staples of our diet, but these are really high in carbs and they're very low in fiber. So essentially, if you eat something that's really high in carbs, even if you take insulin, right, your blood glucose is going to spike and then it's going to crash. That's going to happen with everyone. For diabetics, it's a little bit exaggerated. So you're going to feel noticeably tired at the end of the day, whether you can see it or not, and you always wonder why you're feeling so exhausted. It's because of the high carb diet. For me, I've actually noticed a difference in my energy levels with the diet that I'm following right now, and it gives me the liberty to eat a lot. Because I have such a strict diet, I have the liberty to eat different things sometimes. So I am able to eat pizzas or burgers or even ice cream, normal ice cream sometimes. Please stay away from the sugar-free, diabetic-friendly options in India. Look at the nutrition label. When you look at the nutrition label, what you should be looking at as a type 1 diabetics is the carbohydrates per serving, and you subtract the fiber from that. So that's essentially the number of carbohydrates per serving of that item. And if you look at the sugar-free items, they usually are way higher in the carb count. Some brands which I eat in India normally are such as Vita, Marigold, or even like a normal biscuit brands, they will probably have a much lesser carb count than the sugar-free items. So you don't have to do that. You can just eat lesser of the normal food item. The last thing, which is really important, is that you eat the same number of carbohydrates every single day per meal. That is, if for breakfast you always eat 20 grams of carbs, then you should eat 20 grams of carbs every day for breakfast. So what my breakup is 30 30 20. That is, my breakfast and lunches are 30 grams of carbs and my dinner is 20 grams of carbs. It's really helpful to download an app. I can't do carb counting off the top of my head very well, but I do have an app, and since I weigh out all my portions, I'm able to estimate portion size by weight and then do carb counting. So you need to find out what works for you. But I would suggest please get an app. I will link down a few options below so you can check them out. And if that doesn't work, and I would suggest get a weighing scale and weigh out the food you eat. You'll notice a huge difference. As for calorie counting, that's not a very important aspect, but yes, it is important for instance, I eat about 900 to 1200 calories a day. It is important to kind of restrict your calorie count, because if you put on weight, your insulin requirements will increase, and that is something that we would like to avoid. Now comes the second aspect, that is exercise. For exercise, I exercise 6 days a week. I do high intensity interval cardio and yoga every single day. So I do totally an hour of exercise, 30 minutes of each. That is what I found works best for me, because the cardio helps burn off a lot of blood glucose and the yoga kind of helps me build my strength. And it also really helps, like stretching just feels really good. I don't know what else to say about it. So you need to know how the exercise will affect you. The effects of exercise, yes, immediately you will see a drop in your blood sugar unless you're doing something like weight training, which will cause your blood sugar to spike. But the real results you will see 24 hours later. So if I exercise tonight, I will obviously have a drop in my blood glucose a little while after exercising, but I will have a drop in my blood glucose the next day before lunch, and that will be because I exercised the night before. So you need to anticipate the 24-hour period and see how your blood glucose will rise and fall in that 24-hour period post exercise. Another really important thing to know is how much does your blood glucose fall by per 30 minutes of exercise that you do. For instance, I know that if my pre-workout blood glucose is at about 200 and I exercise for 30 minutes, I do cardio for 30 minutes, my post-workout blood glucose is going to be about 110. It drops by 90 points. Why this is important is so that you can manage your pre-workout and post-workout snacks accordingly in order to avoid a hypo. But exercise definitely helps. Just taking insulin alone is not enough, because it won't help you keep a stable blood glucose. And this routine which I have with my diet and exercise has helped me bring my A1C down from 13 plus to 5.5 to a stable 6 now. So it works for me, it might work for you. In fact, I definitely think that having a good diet and exercise regime can really help you bring your A1C levels down and maintain your blood glucose better. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're a type 1 diabetic, let me know down in the comments what your diet and exercise routine is. If you're not a type 1 diabetic, I beg you to please share this video so that we can raise more awareness about what type 1 diabetics can and cannot eat. And every single time they go out, they don't have to explain their dietary restrictions. And wouldn't it be great if I could just go to a restaurant and I actually see options for myself over there? I think that would be really great. So do remember to share this video. Do let me know what your diet and exercise routine is, and I'll see you next week. Bye.